Many people ask me how to make drinker tubes and incubator for ants. So today I will show you how to make it. So let's start the object with the water. This is a test tube which we fill completely with water and at the end with cotton wool, so that the ants have access to water. In the event of our long absence, and in general, so that they can get water for themselves, if they don't have enough water that you pour into the formicator. To make a drinking tube, we need any plastic or glass tubes. Water is the best to use filtered or boiled, so that the water doesn't have any bacteria. Choose the length of the test tube for your arena by yourself. I prefer to use glass test tubes with a length of 10 to 18 centimeters. Glass tubes because they hold water longer than the plastic tubes. Also, you can use bigger tubes or smaller tube if you have small arena. So let's do it with tubes 15 on 10 centimeters. So I usually do it this way. I take clean water after filter, and then we add this water probably till the end of this tube. Take a clean cotton, and our test tube is ready for using. The best option if we don't have air here, but if we have air it's not a problem, but the best way if you don't have it. If we speak about test tubes for our ants, so we should decide the size of tubes because it's very important for our colony. If you want to breed a lone queen in our test tube, and this queen is not too big, so it's better to have small tubes, and we fill probably more than 15% of water, and then we have a little place for her, and then we have also cotton. If we have bigger queens, so it's of course better use a bit bigger test tube. Also we fill about 1/3 of water, a bit place for her and some place for cotton. Then more water we have in tubes, then longer we can hold our ants in our tube, and we don't need to change the water too often. Usually if we fill water, for example, about 1 1/3 of tubes, it will be enough more or less for several months, about 3, 4, or sometimes even. If we have a colony, also we should to think about size for a place for them. For example, if you have colony with several workers, we can make a bit less water and a bit more place for living. But if we have, for example, ants which don't need so much water, like Campanodus ligniperda or Crematogaster scutularis, we can make less water here and give them more place for long living in this tube. And big tubes we use usually for bigger ants like Camponotus singularis, for example, Differendiacama rugosom, Harpagnathus venator, because they're bigger and they need more place for hunting, and in my opinion it's better to hold them in bigger tubes. Life hack for those who send ants. It is best to do this in plastic test tubes. Pour in a little water and not making a lot of space in the test tube, so that ants don't fly around the test tube during transport. And plastic test tubes are better because the likelihood that the plastic test tube will burst or break is much less. Let's make an incubator for a small colony of ants in a test tube 18 centimeters long. So first we add some water. It is advisable to make a sufficiently dense cotton wool so that when we stick in, air doesn't form between the cotton wool and water. And here we see any air, so it's very good test tube. As a result, we have an ideal incubator that has a lot of space for ants and water that will last from about 4 or 5 months. Give a like for this incubator. For today that's all. Thank you for watching. But for you, my dear subscribers, there is a small surprise. Namely, that is a promotional code for purchase in the ANTonTOP store with a 15% discount. The code you see now on the screen. And this code is valid until the end of this month and the number is limited. That's all from my side. I wish everyone a good week and see you in the next video.
Hasta la vista, baby.